Listen, for example, to Charles Oakley.
And the league is right now is missing a lot of leaders. It's not a lot of leaders on this team. They just playing. Everybody just run them down court like kids.
Welcome again. My last video riled up some people and had a lot of negative comments and attacks and all that other stuff, but I'm old enough not to really care about it. And truth hurts sometimes. So there's more truth coming out in this video. Hopefully, some of you will be able to deal with it a little bit better than you did after the last video. And if not, then it's going to be entertaining again. But we used to have an NBA that was really entertaining to watch. Okay. It was gripping. We would wait for games. Like I would wait for every single game of my favorite team. And I was literally nervous beforehand. The anticipation was insane. There were storylines behind everything and players hating each other and trying to win by any means necessary. We had players be tough on defense, bordering on extreme and dangerous at times, especially if you were a high flyer like Michael Jordan. We had players for whom it was a sign of weakness to show pain and sit a game out with a broken fingernail. We had players wanting to play with a broken foot because they were so competitive.
Once I got that confidence and the feeling in the foot was getting stronger as I continued to play, it wasn't nothing anyone could have said that could stop.
He seemed to be 100% healthy, but the x-rays that were taken of his foot show that the fracture is, although healing very well, not completely healed.
If it's re-injured, it could conceivably take longer to heal, and it may not heal by natural processes and require surgery. And even that's not a 100% guarantee that it'll heal properly. That's
Michael Jordan. Players had toughness, a strong mindset, and a will to fight like no other. These days, we have this.
Another find for LeBron James on the flop right there.
And blaming coaches. And blaming teammates. And while keeping quiet the whole finals series, after you actually lose, why would you come up with an excuse to everyone that you had a broken hand, but it was never apparent, never visible, never recognizable in any way during the games? Yes, the rules in the NBA have changed. I really think the weakness and wokeness that has crept into all the other areas of our life has also crept into the NBA. Listen, for example, to Charles Oakley explain how the NBA wants to literally get rid of old school basketball players, old school guys from the NBA, to be able to implement the softest era of basketball ever.
And the league is right now is missing a lot of leaders. It's not a lot of leaders on this team. They just playing. Everybody just run them down court like kids, but they're just making a lot more money.
Right.
So these teams get more leaders. They're getting all the old guys out of the game, cause we can speak up.
Right.
So when somebody speak up, they try to spank you. So I know because they told me, oh, you this, you that. I said, I'm gonna be myself. I respect you, I'm doing my job. So it is what it is, So they try to push you out the whole thing, and we need to clean up these guys, old guys, they just making it hard on us. No, we just trying to teach the young guys how to be professional.
All these rule changes might lead to higher scoring, but the game has become much less entertaining. There is no true competition these days anymore. Everything seems to be scripted, and it's being mentioned more and more and more and over and over and over, that everything just looks scripted. Another thing that needs mentioning is that all these records being broken now, better field goal percentages and all that, is basically worthless because they're happening in the softest era with almost zero defense. Many delicate LeBron fans keep bringing up the fact that MJ was able to dominate his era because of the NBA changing the rules for him, which allowed him to do that. Except adding the flagrant foul rule to literally protect the lives of the players, what other rules have been changed then for Michael Jordan? I'm gladly going to wait for you to tell me what other rules except the flagrant foul rule had been implemented to allow Michael Jordan to dominate his era of basketball more. Come on, fellas. I'm seriously asking you what other rules have been changed. I do have to mention two rules that were implemented thanks mostly because of the eras of this era's GOAT, LeBron the Soft James. Rule number one, the main rule that he is mostly responsible for getting implemented into the NBA is the anti-flopping rule. The game has become so soft these days that the offensive players, especially the flop king LeBron James, has forced the league's hand. The league had no choice. They had to step in and implement a rule protecting defenders from players lying and faking fouls. That's what had to happen. That's how soft it is. They don't get fouled enough, so they have to pretend, lie, and fake fouls. Rule number two that got implemented under LeBron James' era is the anti-load management rule.
Are you a fan of this load management?
No.
Are you a fan of?
No.
You don't like load
Dump
management?
truck manager, that's about it. Load man, I mean, it's a different time. I mean,
It
you
is.
just guy making $40, $50 million, and I think that you should want to play.
Right.
People paying your salary. The kids come to the game, they want to see you, especially when like East Coast come, West Coast come East or East Coast go West. You got to play these games, especially the team you want to play once on the home, once on the road. You got to play these games, but I think they allowed into the business now because league got so soft. It's a players' league. They get what they want. So I feel sorry for the fans. I'm apologizing from the old school guys that y'all had to go through this.
One that was overused by the likes of LeBron James, especially earlier in his career a little bit. The NBA also had to step in and limit load management practices by players, which greatly helps them with their fake longevity. And for this one, I'm not only blaming LeBron James, but he has a big part in it. Huge part. No wonder that we have players these days score more points, shoot better percentages, and have longer careers if they can barely be touched and defended. Listen to the commentary during these Olympics we're watching now. I was watching one of the games, I believe it was against Serbia. There was a tough foul. Somebody from the US team got fouled, and the commentators were literally saying sometimes the NBA players are not used to some of the contact they see in international games, and that some plays will be called a flagrant foul when called in the NBA, when they were called a common foul in the Olympics, playing against European teams. Boy, how far the NBA has fallen these days. It was used to the opposite. The NBA was the tough league. Now they're talking about it like the NBA is so soft that it's tough for them to adjust to deal with the rules of FIBA. That's insane. The NBA has fallen these days mostly due to overhyping one guy. And instead of using his tools to become a true legend of the sport, because he has all the tools that he could need to become that legend, As John Stockton said, he didn't climb the mountain. He took a helicopter. And you can figure that one out yourself. Think of what that means. It doesn't mean that he took a faster route. It means he took a much easier route, a cheating route. You don't climb the mountain. You don't go through the whole process. You just get in the helicopter and go all the way to the top. The NBA is creating rules that are getting us closer and closer to defensive players becoming like practice cones, not being able to do anything but stand there. And if they will just stand there, if we get to that point, the offensive players like LeBron will just get close to them, flop anyway, and pretend he hit a brick wall. While a replay after the game, when fans go over it, literally shows he was never touched in any way. It's tough, but the NBA is becoming almost unwatchable and softer than cotton candy. There is no comparison to what it used to be. And I'm not just talking about the 90s. The 80s, the 90s, even the 2000s was much better. We had Kobe then. We still had Garnett. We had tough guys in the NBA. Right now, they're almost all gone. Everybody's just crying and complaining, and it's ridiculous. Now, I'll be honest right now, and maybe some of you won't like this take, but I hope all of this changes once LeBron leaves the league. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait until that happens. Peace, and see you again soon. Let's see how badly upset these soft LeBron fans will get this time and what comments we're going to get.